Welcome. You're listening to the Louie Minor Show. I'm your host, Commissioner Louie Minor. Today is March 3rd, 2024. It's been over a month since our last show, and we have a lot to discuss, so let's get started. Let's begin with the agenda for the Bell County Commissioners Court regular meeting for March 4th, 2024, beginning at 9 a.m. We have the invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, consent agenda items. A, consider approval of the minutes of the February 20th, 2024 meeting of the Commissioners Court, personnel budget amendments, claims, accounts payable, payroll, restitution, jury pay. D, consider terminating agreement dated August 7, 2023, and close PO number 295474 between Bell County and Target Solutions for the Workforce Building Window Replacement Project, and authorize the county judge to enter into a new agreement with Target Solutions under the TIPS Purchasing Cooperative Contract number 23010402 for the replacement of windows of the workforce building for a total contract cost of $192,483.71 with a owner contingency of $25,000. And that's all consent agenda items. Then we have consider authorizing the county judge to enter into a tax abatement agreement with Grand Solar Texas 20 LLC. 5, consider and approve a resolution authorizing submission of a community projects fund grant application in the amount of $15,740,000 with a funding match requirement of $0 for the Bell County Transportation Capital Improvement Plan to the 31st Congressional District of Texas, designating the Bell County judge as the authorized official for the grant. Then we have 6, consider a resolution authorizing submission of Community Projects Fund grant application in the amount of $6,800,000 with a funding match requirement of $0 for the Bell County Transportation Capital Improvement Plan to the 11th Congressional District of Texas, designating the Bell County judge as the authorized official for the grant. That is everything for the regular meeting. Now for the workshop directly following the meeting, we have received reports and updates from various county offices and departments, capital improvement plan project updates, jail expansion, temporary jail facilities, museum archives building, the Killeen Annex, discuss FY 2023 CIP plan. Then we have C, discuss creating a county civil service system, local government code chapter 158. That was put on by myself. Then we have discuss creating an internship policy. That was put on by myself. And then we have E, discuss official photographs. That was put on by myself. And then discuss compensation, benefits, classification, and other related personnel matters. And that'll be by the HR director. Then we have the county judge and commissioners may attend March 5th, 2024 at 5 p.m. election watch party or election watch at the Cadence Bank Center, 301 Loop 121, Belton, Texas. And that is everything for the regular workshop or the regular agenda and the workshop for March 4th, 2024. So just to bring you up to speed on everything, where I've been, and it's been difficult to do a show only because I was traveling so much. I had, as you remember, went to the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C., and that was an amazing experience. Got to meet county officials from all over the country, and we discussed our priorities, and then we took those priorities to the Hill and met with congressmen and their staff, and was able to advocate on behalf of counties up there. So that was a really great opportunity. I was able to shadow and with some seasoned county officials that have been doing it for quite some time, to see how they interact with congressional staff. Obviously, this was my first time doing it, so I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed making those connections, and I think those are the things that you need to do as an elected official to be able to bring. I always use the military term, squeaky wheel gets the oil. So, if you're out there making those connections with people and, discussing the needs of your county, of your precinct, your city, then you'll be first on their mind whenever opportunities come up. And that's what I want. I want to make sure that Bell County Precinct 4 Killeen is first on everyone's mind when they're making decisions. So that's why I go to these things. So I went to that, and then directly after that, I went to the Texas Association of Counties, VG Young School of County Government. We're required as a county commissioner to have 16 hours of training every year, and this school is where you go at Texas A&M to AgriLife Extension to get your training. So we go there quite often, a couple of times a year, to get that training. And as always, it's good training, good networking, and I love opportunities like that. So, like I said, I've been gone for our last show was exactly a month ago, and a lot has happened. We're going to get into what's in the paper, what's going on. But first and foremost, on Tuesday, it's Super Tuesday, Election Day. Like I mentioned during the discussion of the workshop items, the county is hosting an election watch party. Now, they said they've done them in the past, but I don't think not all the time. But I think because there's a lot of Republicans that are contested this election, that they are going to host that watch party there. Some of the positions do not have a Democratic challenger, so the winner of the Republican primary will be the office holder. Those are going to be like the judges. I believe there's 2 judge positions that are open. The 146 Judge Jack Jones, he was stepping down, and Judge Gant, he's hit mandatory retirement age. I forgot his court number, but those are the 2 open spots. But we also have DA, that's an open position. Sheriff's office, that's an open position. County commissioner, that's an open position. So there's a lot of people running in that. Now, I expect those to go to a runoff. And so we will see if anyone was able to cobble together 50% plus 1 of the vote out there. So that's going to be real interesting to see. And then, obviously, I think one of the biggest races locally that everyone is watching and paying attention to is Hugh Shine, HD 55, Texas HD 55. He is the incumbent and local favorite. A lot of people like Hugh Shine here, but he has multiple people challenging him, and one of them has been endorsed by the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the attorney general of Texas. And the governor's already been here 3 times, I believe, to support her. And there's all kinds of ads going on TV that you see. And I'm getting text messages from their campaigns all the time, from both Shine and Hicklin, which is weird because I am a strong Democratic voter, but I'm getting all their garbage in my on my phone. And the one thing that they never talk about, at least in all their ads that I saw on TV and even in the text messages, they never mention school choice, school vouchers, and any of this stuff. It's all border issues, and so that should tell you something, the voters out there, that that's not a winning issue because they're not running on it. But that's why they're trying to get Hugh Shine out of theirs, because he voted against the governor's voucher plan to sell out our kids. So that's the one good thing that I could say Hugh did, is he did do that. And then Ken Paxton is obviously against him because he voted to impeach Mr. Paxton, the Attorney General, and he was impeached. So, yeah, on the Democratic side, there's no locally contested races. Everyone that filed, they'll be on the ballot in November. So there are, I think the biggest race for the Democratic side is who is going to represent the party during the to challenge Ted Cruz for the Texas U.S. Senate seat that's up for election. I myself voted for and supported Roland Gutierrez, and I urge everyone that listens to do the same. But I believe the front runner from everything that I've heard online is Colin Allred. He's raised the most money, so he's been able to get his message out there the most. Regardless of who it is, at the end of the day, I think they'll be exponentially better than Ted Cruz. And so, yeah, I mean, that I'm going to support, obviously, the Democratic nominee and the presidential nominee as we move forward into these races. So, yeah, a lot of excitement, a lot of things are going on here locally for office. The city council positions had closed, so now we know who's all on the ballot for those, and we'll address those in another show because that's another election that happens in May. And so that is a quick rundown of what's been going on, at least with me and with the upcoming elections. And so now we'll transition over to, I guess, a little bit what's in the paper, what's been in the paper, what people are talking about here locally that just came out. So let's go to the article and go from there. Well, the first thing that I guess I want to talk about and address that was in the paper, I think Friday, and I'll read the headline. It says, "They owe me $3,000. Bell County Democratic Party evicted from downtown headquarters in Killeen." And I'll read the article real quick. It's not very long. So it says, the Bell County Democratic Party was evicted from its headquarters in downtown Killeen after not paying rent for months and still has election-related files, computers, and other property or other items inside the property, according to the person who owns the building. They didn't pay, said Mohammed Barani, a businessman who owns several properties in North Killeen, including 500 North 10th, which became the Bell County Democratic Party headquarters in 2022 after it moved from Belton. Barami said he changed the locks Friday after the Democrats failed to pay him $3,000 in back rent He says the political party still owes him. The property owner said that he called police Friday morning after 3 people were loitering outside the building, and he thought they might break in to try and retrieve the political files and equipment inside. Ronnie said the 3 women are with the Bell County Democratic Party, but he is not willing to let the Democrats reclaim all of their belongings inside the building until they pay the rent they owe. They owe me $3,000. Why should I give them their stuff? Barami said. Barami specifically names Linda Nash, a Harker Heights City Councilwoman who was the chair of the Bell County Democratic Party since 2022. He said she was responsible for paying the rent, signed the lease, and has not paid since November. Ronnie said that he's been trying to reach Nash for a couple of days, but has not been able to. The property owner said he is not talking to other he's been talking to other members of the local party, including the treasurer. They said they don't have the money, Ronnie said. During lunchtime on Friday, police were at the building at 10th Street. Across the street, 3 women from the Bell County Party's organization waited in a parking lot as Killeen police officer Barani walked through the building, returning outside occasionally. Other than inconsequential chatter from folks outside a nearby convenience store, it was quiet near the building. One of the women, Susan Chris, said that the rent on the headquarters had been reportedly not paid since November. She also said that Nash signed the lease personally. Chris and others who told the Herald about their concerns said Nash is virtually unreachable by phone for quite some time. While waiting across the street, Chris said that the Texas Democratic Party is working with the county party to obtain things they need from its former headquarters. We don't have it yet. There's a process, and they're hopeful, Chris said. There's a bank debit card. There's bank records. There's things like that we need to proceed that we don't have. Nash resigns on Friday. The Bell County Democratic Party dropped off a news release at the Herald's front desk announcing Nash had resigned as chairperson on February 23rd. The Herald originally sent questions to Nash on February 21st about why the headquarters had been closed. She called the Herald afterwards to say she would answer the questions, but never did. On Friday, Nash did not respond to phone calls from the Herald. The Bell County Democratic Party was notified by the Texas Democratic Party that Linda Nash resigned her position effective February 23rd, 2024, according to the organization's release. Furthermore, the Texas Democratic Party is temporarily taking over duties of the county chair position, according to the release. The state party notified the Bell County elections official and Bell County Democratic Party officials that for the duration of the 2024 primary election, TDP steps into Mrs. Nash's place to conduct election matters. The primary election is on Tuesday. Chris was appointed by the state Democratic Party as Bell County Democratic Party County Convention Chair, said despite the setbacks, she feels like people from the party are motivated to turn things around. Rebuilding makes you better, but it's a pain in the ass to do, Chris said. We're in the rebuilding process. I see a lot of wonderful things happening. I see a lot of energy. People have come together to take over certain parts of this. It's good to be better, but you got to get through headaches. Rami said he needs the rent paid before Democrats get their stuff back. If they don't pay, I'm going to throw it in the dumpster, Rami said. I don't care. So that is the article on this. And yeah, it's embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. It's embarrassing that we have that in the paper as a party, but I think it's necessary. for far too long. Linda Nash, the former chair, has what is the word I'm looking for? There's just no making it nice. She has been an incompetent leader. Uh, she did not seek for help. She did not do any fundraisers. We did not want that building. I think a majority of people did not want to continue to pay for that building for the year because we knew that it would not get used. Now she wanted to do training year round. She wanted to do things year round, but she was never there, and she never allowed anyone else to use that building. So, I mean, it was a complete mismanagement of money. It was a complete mismanagement of everything. Linda Nash destroyed everything that we've been working for. I've been here over a decade now in politics, and within one, not even full term, she's managed to set things back. And I think the public needs to know this, because I guarantee you that people are trying to reach the Bell County Democratic Party and are not able to. I mean, when the elections candidate filing period was happening, I had candidates reaching out to me saying, we cannot get a hold of Linda. You only have 1 month to file. And they were extremely concerned because they would set up appointments with her and she would, cancel them. And I mean, I reached out to her and told her my concerns, and she told me to stay in my lane. And I responded back to her that, people are reaching out to me because they can't get a hold of her. It's not like, I'm proactively going out and seeking people. And she told me to stay in my lane. And I told her this is my lane, to get Democrats elected. So after that, I stopped talking to her. I lost all respect for her. Later to find out that, they had told Linda, like, hey, we are running out of money. We need to get out of the office and end that. And she refused to do that. She said, no, we're going to stay in the office and I'll pay for it, even if I have to do it out of my own pocket. And obviously she didn't pay for it out of her own pocket because now we're getting evicted. So, it's really unfortunate that we had an incompetent leader, an incompetent chair, but that's what she was. And that's what we have to call it out. You can't sugarcoat it. I think people deserve to know and understand what's going on, to be transparent, because like I said, I guarantee you people are trying to reach out to us, and there's no getting hold of anyone. So if you go to the Bell County Democratic website now, I believe it takes you to some company in South Korea that took our website domain. And, there's nothing that's been put on Facebook. There's no information out there. It's just a mess. But, unfortunately fortunately for us, that even though we've had issues like this, we always seem to fall forward. We don't fall backwards. We seem to fall forward, stumble forward. And that's what I see going on. You have Susan Chris, who's a retired district judge from Galveston County, who moved to Bell County. And so she's doing great, stepping up, even though it's going to be temporary. And I've seen a lot of other people step up because we love the Democratic Party. We love what we do in the community, trying to help out and improve everyone's lives. And it's an important mission for us. That's why we do it. So, there's people that are committed to get this back on track. I'm one of them. I will continue to do everything I can as a citizen, as a resident, as a voter, as an elected official. Everything I can do to bring trust and confidence back into your Democratic Party as we continue to grow this and take positions of leadership in the county. I want people to know that you're going to have a strong, robust Democratic Party, and now we know we need to have elections. When county chairs step down, because that's what happened in this point. We had a county chair that stepped down and handpicked Linda to be the next chair. Now, Linda fooled a lot of people that she could do the job, and she was just grossly out of her league. She could not do the job, and that was not evident till a little bit later on. But yeah, it's there's more I could say about Linda, but it's not good to beat a dead horse. And in my opinion, she is done in the Democratic Party. She would never get elected to anything. If I have anything to say about it, there's going to be a lot of people in the Democratic Party that are activists and volunteers that come and help out that would never support anything she does again for leaving us like this. So that is that for our election, that our drama that's going on in the newspaper, at least this week. And yeah, I've got emails, I got phone calls, I got text messages about all this. So I don't mind answering it. I'm not going to shy away from it. This is where we're at, and people deserve to know, and they deserve to know too that we're working through it and we have a plan, and there are dedicated people that are here, and we're going to work real hard to get us back on track. So, two things that I'll talk about real quick that are on the agenda for tomorrow, and I just want to go into a little bit more detail about. During our regular meeting, we're going to talk about Grand Solar Texas 20. Grand Solar Texas 20 is a solar farm that is located, 800-acre proposed solar farm that is located in Precinct 4 off of 2670. So if you're going down 195, it's off the 777 road. You'll turn heading west on 2670, 777, and going a couple of miles down that road, you'll be passing the proposed solar project. 800 acres. They're asking for a tax abatement of almost $200 million and a 312 tax abatement agreement. If it's authorized, it will have a pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. So, what happens with big projects like this, companies that have a lot of money, they protest their taxes every year, and that's just how they do it. And they fight hard to get, obviously, their property taxes lowered, so they have to pay less. So for the 10-year maximum that a tax abatement agreement can be made, this one, they're required to give a payment every year. So obviously it's reduced. It's reduced, I think, like at 60-something% of the tax abatement that we would be getting. So it's like $200-something thousand every year that we'll be getting for those 10 years. So a guaranteed fixed amount. And then after that 10 years, it'll go to the market rate of what that is. And, based off of the property and the improvements. So there'll be a calculation of that. But this helps them with their construction cost and to be able to get it going and I guess sell it on the market as an investment to people. The interesting thing about this is, since I've been on the commissioner's court, I've been wanting to do more and more for our small businesses, especially our minority owned businesses, our hub businesses, women owned businesses, veteran owned businesses, any of those, type of designations. I want to get them more involved with county government, with the purchasing of county government. And when I've brought that up a couple of times to the commissioner's court, obviously they're not interested in that. They said we don't need it, that we should treat all businesses the same. And I would agree, but we don't. And there's long-standing histories of minority-owned businesses, hub businesses, women-owned businesses not getting a seat at the table. So that's why it's important. And it might be hard for a bunch of old white men that have always been included in things instead of excluded in things to understand that. But anyways, what I've been able to do is in the last tax abatement agreement that we did, which was, I believe, Chillingham, that's going to be out in the Rogers area, that contractor agreed to include, because in our tax abatement agreement, we have a local outreach plan. And in that local outreach plan, it's saying, hey, you're going to try and use local vendors. But what I was able to include in the local outreach plan is a hub goal of 21%. And that's amazing because we have never had anything in the county like that, remotely like that. So just the fact that they're agreeing to do this, at least in that one that we already voted and approved on, they agreed that they're going to make a hub goal and try and reach it. The one that we're going to vote on tomorrow, Grand Solar Texas 20, they agreed to the hub goal as well, 21%. And, what is 21% of 200 million? Let's pull out the calculator real quick and do that math. Say 200 million times 21%. That's 42 million. That they're going to say that is going to be the goal to go to historically underutilized businesses. Now, are we going to reach that? No, probably not. But we have to set it as a goal. We have to set it as a benchmark. There has to be, I believe in the law, it's classified as a good faith effort. You got to have a good faith effort. And what that looks like is, we'll use the state hub plan sheet, worksheet. So say you need a painter or electrician or something like that, a trade. Well, you list them like, hey, I made contact with this person at this company. That's a hub company. And, you list 3 of them. You send them an invitation to bid. Now, if they don't bid, that's, you can't force people to bid on anything, but that constitutes a good faith effort. You reached out to them. They had an opportunity to look at plans. They had an opportunity to ask questions. They had an opportunity to bid, and they could have very well bidded. They might have been too high than, who the vendor normally uses or the contractor normally uses. And all that's okay. But it's, like I said, it's a good faith effort I think this is really, really good. We need to start tracking this type of information, tracking the type of companies that are working for the county. We don't do any of that right now, but I think we need to. And like I said, it's only going to make us better. We should be taking all of this data that we get and using it. But I obviously I don't think a lot of the departments or would know what to do with that data. But it's something that I'm glad. I'm extremely happy that we got this into the tax abatement agreement, and hopefully moving forward that we can expand on that and include it in the rest of the county purchasing policy, which we do not have a purchasing policy. We do not have a purchasing agent. We're working on getting that way. I know that that's in maybe the 5-year plan is to hire a purchasing agent. We'll have a purchasing plan policy, and then hopefully include hub minority requirements in all county purchasing. But that's the goal. That's what I'm going for, and I think we'll reach that goal as long as we keep on pushing the issue, getting community support, making sure that the Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, making sure that they're there pushing for it. I think we could get that over the finish line. But yeah, no, I'm very excited about the Grand Solar Texas 20 that's going to be coming in and actually putting these plans in place. It's one thing for it to be on paper, but how are we going to work together to make sure that this is happening? There's really no one at the county that is looking over our tax abatement agreements with these solar companies and making sure all are the covenances that we have in place being followed. We don't have that person, but I can tell you that I will be that person, at least for the hub plans. I'm gonna demand that they include me in all that stuff. Make sure that I get invitations to these local outreach plans, that they submit the hub plans to the commissioner's court for review. And but like I said, I think it's going to be a good thing, and I look forward to discussing that tomorrow. Now, the other thing that we'll talk about real quick, and it's also something that's in the paper, is item C on the workshop agenda. Discuss creating a county civil service system, Local Government Code, Chapter 158. And I did a news article with the Killeen Daily Herald. They were kind enough to run this story today in the Sunday paper. I got above the fold. They call it above the fold. You want to be above the paper fold, and that lets you know you're in a good spot on the paper. So the title of the article is Minor to Present Proposal to Create Civil Service Program for Bell County. And I'll read the article for you real quick. It's not very long. It says, will Bell County employees soon fall under civil service protection? That is the question that one elected county official is looking to answer in the coming months ahead of the November 5th general election. Louie Minor, a Killeen Democrat who represents Killeen on the Bell County Commissioner's Court, plans Monday to introduce a proposal to bring all county employees under civil service protection. And this is a quote. What that does is it creates a standard for hiring, for promotions, and then a process for firing, a grievance process, Minor said in a phone interview with the Herald on Thursday. Minor's proposal will be discussed during the course workshop meeting that will take place either at 10 a.m. or immediately following the regular meeting that starts at 9. Should the Commissioners Court concur, Bell County would become the 15th county in the state to protect its employees under civil service. Chapter 158 of the Local Government Code in Texas grants Bell County the ability to do so, as counties with population greater than 190,000 can enter into civil service. Though the actions would protect all county employees, there's one race in particular, the Bell County Sheriff's, that has some employees concerned. Eddie Lang, who has served as sheriff since 2012, is on board with Minor's proposal. This is a quote from the sheriff. In my particular case, there was going to be a new sheriff coming in. There's a lot of talk, a lot of rumors going around out in the community about certain candidates wanting to do this or wanting to do that. Eddie Lang said on a phone conversation Friday, I got a number of employees very concerned about their jobs. Minor told the Herald on Thursday that he expects his proposal to meet with opposition from his colleagues on the Commissioner's Court, who are all Republicans except for Minor. He said that he expects one of their arguments to be that Eddie Lang did virtually the same thing when he was first elected. They're going to say, well, Eddie did this. Why shouldn't the new sheriff get the same protection? Minor said, well, I think Eddie was wrong. The county paid out for it, and he shouldn't have done that. Those employees back then should have been protected. When this was mentioned to Eddie Lang over the phone, the sheriff seemed to agree. I was a senior elected official, and yes, you have the authority to come in and hire and fire whoever you want, Lang said. In reality, there are certain federal employee rights that you just can't really do that any longer. You have to have just cause, not for rehiring someone just because you were elected. Should the Commissioner's Court reject the proposal, Minor said he is ready to pursue other alternative means to make it happen. While the other two ways it could happen is for the Commissioner's Court to call for an election and put the measure on the ballot, or for there to be a petition to get it on the ballot. For the petition to succeed, should it come to that, Minor said 50% of the county's employees would have to sign it. He said Thursday that would equate to about 600 people. Minor is confident that he can get the signature swiftly. After all, Minor has a track record of getting signatures on petitions to allow measures to reach the ballot. Dating back to a couple of years ago, Minor worked with Ground Game Texas to get propositions on the ballot in Killeen and Harker Heights to stipulate that police officers cannot enforce low-level marijuana. Monday's workshop meeting will be held at 10 o'clock, immediately following the Bell County Commissioner's Court meeting, Bell County Courthouse. So there you have it. It's going to be an interesting discussion on Monday. You know, the thing for me is I want to empower our employees. I want them to have a seat at the table. I want them to know that they are protected, that there is a method for hiring, a method for promotion, and a method for firing. and a grievance process for all those, and to take politics out of our employees' stability, job stability. So this article had referenced Chapter 158 of the Local Government Code, and just as a reminder that a county is not like a city, a home run rural city. A city in Texas can do whatever it wants almost. A county, on the other hand, can only do what is authorized by the Texas legislature. And the laws that are written for counties, a lot of them say may. So the commissioner's court, has to vote on doing these provisions in the law. And this is one of them, Chapter 158, County Civil Service, Subchapter A, County Civil Service System. And in Section 158.002, the first thing you have to do is, are we eligible? So eligible counties, a county with a population of 190,000 or more may, in accordance with this subchapter, create a civil service system to include all the employees of the county who are not exempt from this system by the express terms or jurisdictional interpretations of this chapter, or by the operation of subchapter B. So, is Bell County over 190,000 in population? The answer to that is yes, we are. We are almost 400,000. I think we're like 387, 390, somewhere in that range. And they adjust it, throughout the years, throughout the decade of population growth. But what they actually use in a lot of things is census status, and that only comes out every 10 years. So how can we create this? Let you know that one, we had to be over 190,000. Well, in the next section, Section 158.003, we can create by order. A county civil service system may be created by an order adopted by a majority of the members of the Commissioner's Court. A copy of that order adopted under this section shall be placed in the minutes of the court's proceedings. A copy of the order is public information. So the Commissioner's Court can, in its divine wisdom and majority, vote by order to create a county civil service system. The next thing we could do is Section 158.004 is creation by an election. And a county civil service system may be created by the approval of the system by a majority of the qualified voters of the county voting at an election called for that purpose. B, the Commissioner's Court may, by order, call an election on the question of the creation of a county civil service system. The Commissioner's Court shall hold the election called under this section on the first authorized uniform election date prescribed by Chapter 41 of the Texas Election Code that allows for sufficient time of the publication of the notice required by subsection E and for compliance with established state law. So Commissioner's Court can call for a vote, by the county elected voters to see if they want to create this. And then the last section that we can do is Section 158.0065, petition to create by order or election. Now, let's read this section. This section applies only in a county with a population of 200,000 or more that would not be eligible to expand or dissolve this system under Section 158.007. B. The Commissioner's Court of a county that receives a petition signed by at least 50% of the county's employees requesting the creation of a county civil service system shall vote no later than the 30th day after the date that the court receives the petition, whether to create a system by adopting an order under Section 158.003. If the court does not create a system as provided in Section 158.003, the court shall call an election to decide the question as provided by Sections 158.004 through 158.006. So that is the three options that we have for civil service. We can do it by order, just outright. Or the Commissioner's Court can call for an election to do it. And if neither one of those work, then the Commissioner's Court must, if we get a petition with at least 50% of the county employees, that we have 30 days to vote on creating it by order or not. And if we do not create it by order, then we have to send it to the voters. So what does that time period look like? I'm going to say sometime in June, July. So if we have to give the Commissioner's Court 30 days to do this, and then we have to call for a vote, then I think we got time to hit the November election. Definitely have time. There's not going to be any problem getting the votes or the signatures. I think, these employees, they're signing that they want job protection, job stability. And I want them to have that. I want them to have that empowerment. And, it'll create a commission, civil service commission. And that commission, a 3-member panel appointed by the Commissioner's Court. And they will be the ones that are setting up all these policies and procedures and to enact this chapter. So I'm excited for this opportunity for the employees. I'm interested in employee protection, employee empowerment, to give them a voice. And I used to work for the county a long time ago. I was a jailer. I started out as a jailer with the county, and I want to say maybe 2002, 2003 time period. And all I wanted to do was be a police officer. And I thought this was a good opportunity to do that. I was going to college to get my peace officer certificate, to be a police officer. I was paying that, out of my own pocket. Obviously, no one was paying it for me. And I got my peace officer license on my own. But for you to be an actual police officer, you have to be sponsored. Someone has to pick up your license. The agency has to pick up your license for you to be an official police officer. So at the time, like I said, I worked for the sheriff's department, and I asked them, I'm like, hey, would y'all pick up my license? I want to go out on my days off on my own time to get experience. I was eager to be a police officer. And they told me no. And I was obviously disappointed about that. But I ran into the constable's office, and the constable office picked up my license. I would go out and train with them and work with them, and went to the range with them one day. And whenever I went to the range, there was people from the sheriff's department there. And, I didn't think anything about that. Like I said, I was on my own time off and never interfered with my job as a jailer at the sheriff's department. So, anyways, after that, I went back to work at the sheriff's department. And I got called into the major's office, and they proceeded to berate me for being a reserve deputy. A reserve deputy. I wasn't getting paid. It wasn't interfering with my job at the sheriff's department. But I'll never forget this story. They told me, look at your shoulder. Look down at your shoulder. And I did. I looked down, and they said, what does that say? And it was the patch, of the sheriff's department. And I looked down and I said, well, it says Bell County Sheriff's Department since 1850. And they're like, you know what? That's right. Since 1850. And things ain't going to change just because you're here. So do I think that mentality has left the sheriff's department or even other departments in the county? Probably not. So, I have personal experience from political issues that employees would face because I faced them myself. And like I said, I want to protect employees from this type of thing, and I'm sure it happens every day. And I want the employees to know that I'll be your advocate on the commissioner's court. So, yeah, let's wrap this up. We got a lot of stuff going on. We'll have more shows, I promise. I'm not going to be traveling that much for a couple of months. We're about to start kicking off our budget. So we got a lot of things coming with that. Oh, also on the workshop, I mentioned internship policy. The reason I brought that up is because the county does not have an internship policy. And I am actually getting an intern from the University of Texas. Thank you, UT. I appreciate it. For the county, they'll be working here with me from, I believe, May to July. And it's, the county doesn't have to pay anything, and the student gets a $5,000 scholarship. So it's a win-win for the county. It's a win for the student, and it's a win for the school. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But we need to have a policy in place because that we really don't have one. And I know other people get interns because I was told they get interns, and I think we need to have a method and process on how we do that. Are they going to be allowed to have access to county emails? I think they should. Emails are not that expensive, I don't think. They can create one real quick. And but yeah, I think they need to have access to all those capabilities to make them have a good, solid internship. And maybe, who knows? This could be the next county judge or the next HR director, IT director that comes and interns with us. They'll like the county and just stay there and come back home and work with us, improve our county. So yeah, I think that's going to be a great thing. And then I guess since I already talked about all the other things, the last thing I want to that I have on the workshop agenda is discuss official photos. And you would think like, why is that on the agenda? Well, it needs to be. First of all, I would like to call myself a history buff. I enjoy history. I enjoy local history, Texas history, and we don't take official photos. There's no repository for photos of elected officials, nowhere, and you don't have to go far to do that. I was looking. I wanted to put up photos in my office of all my predecessors, but there's no official photo of even John Driver anywhere. So to me, this is historical preservation. This is the right thing to do for the county. We spend, thousands and thousands of dollars in the Bell County Museum. We spend thousands of dollars on the Historical Commission, and can we spend a couple of $1,000s getting all of the elected officials' pictures photographed, archived, so we have that historical preservation. And what I did was I went to the Killeen City Hall. If you go to Killeen City Hall, they have photos in there of all of the past city councils. All the past city councils starting at 1949. So yeah, you could go all the way back to 1949 and see photos and names of those elected officials. And like I said, we don't have that. We don't have that here. So I want to create that. I think we should. It's minimum cost. I got a quote from a Hub certified business out of Killeen, and she does the family took the pictures for years. She does the photos for the city of Killeen, and working on picking up Nolanville. So Miss Candice Cooper, and she'll be there and talk about what she does. But it's historical preservation. It's doing the right thing for history for the county, and so tomorrow will be interesting. It'll be a long day, and because then after that I got to go to P&Z and chair that meeting. But it's what I signed up to do. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing this podcast. Thank you for listening, and there'll be more to come. We're going to have to talk about what happened on Super Tuesday on the elections. So stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything that you do. And we will see you next week.